Hi, this is Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about Thor: Love and Thunder. So I absolutely loved Thor: Love and Thunder, but I think Thor: Love and Thunder serves as a humanity spike, and I want to talk. And I think it's really valuable to look at Thor: Love and Thunder as a humanity spike with the specific goal of helping you to understand what happened in 1974 when Dungeons & Dragons was created, and why it's so spectacularly important, right? And, of course, I'm always trying to explain to people, Dungeons & Dragons, in my humble opinion, Dungeons & Dragons is not a game. It is simultaneously the reforging of all human narrative, right? Taking it away from one central teller and one inactive hearer to, a central artist, a participating experiencer, and fate itself, the dungeon master, the player, and the dice, and also then becoming a human improvement tool, because and I actually think the reforming of human narrative was a central ingredient to achieve Dungeons & Dragons serving as a human improvement tool. And so all this comes forward, and Dungeons & Dragons manifests in 1974 as a human improvement tool, in my humble opinion. I'm trying to show people this and just trying to say, hey, this, Dungeons & Dragons ain't shooting to ladders. You believe one thing or another. You either believe Dungeons & Dragons is just another game, a board game. There's thousands of them. There's nothing special when a new board game is created. Tom Vassell don't even have time to review it, right? Like, there's nothing special about a new game being created in humanity. There are thousands of them created every year. There are probably 10 to 100 games that are created every single day. There's nothing special about another game, right? And I'm saying that's just not the case. That's not what Dungeons & Dragons is. It's a human improvement engine, and those don't come along that often. This is fundamentally different, and 1,000 times more, 100,000 times more valuable than simply another game thrown on the pile, right? It's just not, and I truly believe, at this point, you have to have small vision or small intelligence to believe that Dungeons & Dragons is a game. There's just so much evidence that that's just not the case. It's shockingly clear to me. Now, I do understand nobody else is seeing it at this point, but to me, this is outrageously simple, right? And you're like, hey, Scott, you think this thing that nobody else thinks. Just want to point you, like, Marvel almost went bankrupt in the 80s. Literally no one thought that, comics for kids was a multi-billion-dollar industry. The vast amount of people are often wrong, right? So you're in the vast, I'm in the small, but I'm not wrong. That's the thing, and I'm trying to get you there. I want Dungeons & Dragons value to be seen before they go broke. Now I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, but I do think they've been put into a box, and I want them to spike through it. All right, so let's talk about human spikes. So what are human spikes? It's when what is a humanity spike, right? It's when someone, a creator, right, an artist or a creator, does something that just spikes through in two directions. It spikes back through our history and spikes into our future. And that's what Thor: Love and Thunder is, okay? So let me explain how Thor: Love and Thunder spikes back to the past and spikes into the future, okay? So it's interesting. So I went to see Thor: Love and Thunder, and I was surrounded with the audience, and I think the audience was like, oh, this is a fun summer popcorn movie. And if you turn, and if you didn't pay attention, you could believe that, right? But there's one shot in the movie that I think absolutely proves this, right? And that there's something, Thor: Love and Thunder is no, summer popcorn film. It's a humanity spike. It reaches back to our past, and it will determine our future as humans, right? So that's a bold claim. Let me get you there. Okay. All right. So, Thor: Love and Thunder is about a Viking, okay? So I'm going to point you all the way back to the Tjangvide image on stone, okay? If you don't know what that is, link below. And Thor: Love and Thunder starts with that, with the Tjangvide image on stone. It's an image of Vikings rowing their ship, right, to Great Britain, right? And they're going to arrive on the shores of Great Britain, and they are going to get out of their boat, which they rowed themselves. That's important because that's how Vikings got ridiculously strong and ferocious. Or that's how they got ridiculously strong. Then once they arrive, they're going to spend an entire night worshiping Fenrir and becoming completely enraged. And then they're going to invade a British village, and they're going to pillage it, right? And when like 10, 20 Vikings out of a boat descend on a Great Britain village, they descend with such speed and ferocity, the British people have never seen anything like it, and they fold. Like, they are just crushed under the speed and the intensity and the ferocity and the fire of the Viking, right? That's the Tjangvide image on stone. It captures all that, right? So, Viking history. Then you go forward. And this is all in Love and Thunder, right? So then you go forward, and you reach the 1980s with Walter Simonson, one of the most talented artists ever to pick up a pencil. And he draws Viking. He draws the Space Viking, which reaches back to the Tjangvide image on stone. And he puts the myth of Vikings into an incredibly engaging human story, right? That's Walter Simonson in the 1980s. At this point, nobody sees in value in what he's doing. They don't understand that he's literally reshaping how all of entertainment will be in the future. Because the work that's being done at Marvel, okay, so we go from Walter Simonson in the 80s. He's doing groundbreaking work. Nobody sees it. Then we jump to 2008. A broken man, an addict, right? Who's a man coming out of addiction. Robert Downey Jr., 2008 Iron Man. Boom, history. Tjangvide images shown. Boom, history. Walter Simonson draws the Space Viking. Boom, history. Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man 1. Boom, history. 2022, 14 years after Iron Man 1. And all of human entertainment has been completely reshaped. The superhero movie, which goes all the way, this Thor: Love and Thunder, which is a movie about a Viking and simultaneously a movie about a superhero, reaches back to the Tjangvide image on stone. And now there's not a studio in the world that ignores Marvel and that ignores Disney and that ignores the superhero trend that Disney, Marvel, and Thor cemented and drove 100 feet into the ground. It is a pillar that things are being built on, right? And honestly, without it, I think with no doubt, right? I think Marvel films are the only thing keeping theater alive today. American movie theaters alive today. They would be dead from the pandemic without it. And because of that boom, 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 boom echo from history is going to go boom, 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 boom. And it will determine 6 future parts. So when you see Taika Waititi's film, he's simultaneously preserving American movie theaters, an entire industry. And you think, oh, no, this is just a superhero movie, but wait for it. In Thor: Love and Thunder, and there's spoilers here, Thor picks up his hammer and he gives his power to 30 children. And the people who eat popcorn and enjoy summer movies, they don't see this. But if you know what a humanity spike is, you see it, right? When there's a crane shot that Taika Waititi, who has an Oscar, is that just like a quinky dink? Yeah, this is a humanity spike, right? This is coming from a titan of a creator, right? When he does a crane shot, okay, and that crane shot from above shows the lightning arc out from Thor and go to 30 children. It's only on screen for 2 seconds. Nobody in my family realized what it was. I saw it immediately, because every single day I'm thinking about a humanity spike, which is Dungeons and Dragons. So I know when I'm seeing something that echoes 100 items back in history. and I know something that's going to echo 100 items forward into our future. I'm used to it. I see it every day. I focus on it, right? So when I see it in other mediums, I know it, right? So when Thor transfers his power to the 30 children, lightning arcs out from him. It's only on screen for 2 seconds. It is Yggdrasil. It is the world tree. It is what the Vikings worshipped. It's part of their myth and it was part of their sacred, right? And the Yggdrasil is captured in everything that's within the tale that's being told by the Tjangvide image on stone. It's captured in Walter Simonson's groundbreaking comic book work. It's captured, it's there, right? This idea of myth, powerful myth, reaching back. It's there in Iron Man, because Marvel, and then it's there in Yggdrasil. The lightning shape is Yggdrasil. It is the world tree, right? Only a student of history would see this, right? Everybody else just looks at it and goes, "Oh, what a wonderful summer film," blah, 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 and just moves on. This is where we're at with Dungeons and Dragons. It is filled with 100 Yggdrasils. Beowulf, to Tolkien, to 1974 creation of D&D, to Amanda Heyman's work in Strixhaven in 2022. But nobody sees it. Just like they think Thor Love and Thunder is a fun popcorn movie, right? People think Dungeons and Dragons is a game. So who are you listening to? Are you listening to fools who are reviewing Thor Love and Thunder as, oh, look at this summer popcorn film, who don't even have any clue of the history, the boom, 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 boom history that echoes through it, and don't see what it is, right? Reaching back all the way back to the Tjangvide image on stone of the Vikings and understanding everything they were, right? Are you listening to people who understand that and understand that it's not a coincidence that Taika Waititi has an Oscar, right? Or are you listening to like some OSR dude telling you, yeah, it's a fun game and you use it to chop up goblins, and make sure none of your language ever changes. When you connect to Dungeons and Dragons, make sure it doesn't change your heart, your mind, your soul in any way. Make sure that you walk away unaffected, and that the only thing that should happen is that you had some fun, like you ate cotton candy. Who are you listening to? Who are you listening to? Are the people who you listen to on D&D, do they understand that it was a humanity spike that created it in 1974? Do they understand that it goes back to Beowulf, back to Tolkien, back to that fateful day in 1974, and that it's just as alive today? And that the Yggdrasil for us is is the social interaction gate being opened in Strixhaven, or do they not even understand what Strixhaven is? And you're listening to fools. You got a choice. Don't listen to fools. I'll tell you that right now. And in my humble opinion, the only people today who believe that Dungeons & Dragons is a game are outrageous fools. That's my humble opinion. I'd love to hear yours. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.